So YNW Melly apparently authorized the red rum of his own mother. Wow, that's what a detective said on the witness stand this week in the D penalty M trial of Jamell Demons, aka young African-American World Melly. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. This story has brought me back to rap. And lucky for you and bad for me, I have a lot of experience in the violence and degradation and dark stuff that goes on in usually the urban corners of America, but the story of YNW Melly takes us down to the backwaters of Florida with a little help from the capitals of Southern Sin, well, an appearance from the capitals of Southern Sin, Louisiana and Atlanta. The beginning of our dark tale falls on the same sort of person as the fall of mankind itself began, a woman.
Show me text messages from Sack Chaser threatening all her friends and all these people like he's about this life. But I'm saying, like, who the fuck you ever robbed? Who the fuck you ever shot at? What the fuck you ever did? Nigga, you couldn't even take a fucking weed charge. If you don't sit your pussy ass down and don't ever come for me, because my credentials is real. It ain't even a joke. So don't ever try to come for me, because I don't even play them type of games. Like, what the fuck you got that I ain't got? Oh, you threaten me with your little gun? Bitch, I got big guns.
That was YNW Melly's mother threatening the eventual alleged victim of her son. That was YNW Sack Chaser. This is the same mother who Melly texted somebody, though we may never know who, about murking. That was just testified about in the trial by the detective at Melly's murder trials going on now. And I watched a lot of obscure YouTube interviews, not a lot of views, from different locals down there in Gifford, Florida, and the other Wabasso, these other places. And the best way I can describe where Melly is from, it's 2 hours north of West Palm Beach. And if you don't know what West Palm Beach is, it's a shack-filled slum about an hour north of Miami. And from watching all these little video clips and reading everything, it's become apparent that there was some strange power struggle between YNW Sack Chaser and Melly's mother. And it was likely at the heart of Jamell Demons, it's Melly's name, being on trial for gunning down his two YNW partners. Inside an SUV they were all sitting in together and staging a fake drive-by from unknown enemies, then having YNW Cortland drop their corpses at the hospital and try to play it all off. A truly disturbing and weird story.
On any day, Melly is my child. And he is gonna be great because he's talented. He's talented because his mom, not because of your little fuck ass, retarded ass.
So back to the video. Why was a teenage gangster rapper's mother threatening his so-called homeboy on Instagram? Well, let the mean streets of Gifford, Florida, population 5,500, tell it. It was because she and Sack Chaser were at odds over who would control the mind of the little demons, by whom I mean Jamell Demons, YNW Melly, who's only released like an album and a mixtape, not a lot of songs, but he had Kanye West and people like Kevin Liles and Lear Cohen amplifying the broadcast of his songs, which almost exclusively were about killing people and having demons inside of them. And as somebody that has been around disturbed people and extreme violence since I came out the womb, starting with my mother and extending all the way up to some of my closest and most trusted and loved friends right now, YNW Melly, when I watched his Murder on My Mind, or Menace on My Mind, as Leor and Liles rechristened it for re-release, he gave me bad vibes. I said, man, I wouldn't even want to direct that video and be around them people. So before we get into this super weird story, which might possibly involve a horror movie type love triangle of sorts between Melly, his mother, and Sack Chaser, be aware that the prosecutor is seeking the D penalty. Think about all the heinous crimes that happen in the Gunshine State and how few the D penalty is sought in. But when you murk some of your so-called best friends for money, as the prosecutor alleges, that's one of the things that makes you eligible for And if it was about money, what role does Melly's, I guess, manager 100K Track play in all this? Now, 100K Track was recently accused of embezzling Melly's money by Melly's old buddy Jay Green, and they argued on Instagram Live. Murder in My Mind has like 500 million views by now. Like, money is coming in, but which he refuted, and then Melly said his mother was crazy, and here's a clip of that.
Yeah, man, listen, everybody who entertaining that shit or whatever going on, bruh, that is not what it is, bruh. My mama be lying. My mama got anxiety issues. Her ass tripping, bruh. You know what I'm saying? She feels some type of way because she feel like my brother's supposed to be bigger.
But is money the reason that Mr. Demons allegedly did it? Or is it something more bizarre? I mean, even more bizarre than Mama Demons. The young Demon's mother arranging strippers to twerk dance on a parking structure across from his jail cell, with Mama Demons herself making it rain with the money, I'm sure, generated by her son's crazy music that went on his last 2 birthdays ago or something. She had strippers in front of the county jail. Shouldn't she have been using that money to put bags on the heads of, well, I won't say who she should have had bags put a head on. I was getting a little too Detroit for a second. Now, this case was just another rapper crime story I wasn't particularly interested in, but like I said, when I got into it the other day, I realized it was a one-stop shop for all sorts of pathologies and failed criminal tactics, so I could teach you, my fellow followers, many things in just one story. Now, first let's talk about the crime and how the crackers, as they call the police in Florida, came to unjustly accuse Mr. Demons. So it's October 2018. Melly has not been out of jail long for shooting at 3 classmates at the predominantly white high school he went to in Vero Beach, Florida, back in October of 2015. And as a quick aside, I've always been curious what it would have been like to attend high school or middle school or elementary school with white people. So if you have any good anecdotes about going to school with white people, please leave them in my comments so I can relate to YNW Melly better. But after serving a little time and then some more probation violation time, back and forth in jail, Melly had been putting out music, putting it up on SoundCloud, probably with the help of YNW Sack Chaser. He got popular while he was in jail. He gets out. Leor Korn and Kevin Lyles, 300 Management. You may be familiar with them from the ongoing Young Thug case. And they sign him to Atlantic Records. Murder on My Mind was released by Melly on March 4th, 2017 on the SoundCloud, and it got popular. But when he got out and got signed to 300, they re-released it with a giant push. So this is a kid that gets out of jail for, I mean, technically a mass shooting in a high school, who has a song called Murder on My Mind, and a big corporation comes in and backs it. So him and Bortland get caught with a gun not long after the re-release of the song. Bortland's real name is Cortland, but because he's a small-town blood, of course, he changed his rap name from Cortland to Bortland. We'll be referring to him as Cortland Bortland throughout. Now, Cortland Bortland seems just like Melly, but at least Melly can talk. July 2018 to January 2019 was the classic 6-month run for YNW. He got caught with some reefers on January 3rd in 2019. He went back to the Bounty Jail. And before that, though, in August, he and Sack Chaser and someone else got into a brawl with NBA Youngboy in his camp at the Atlantic Records building itself. So you see how these labels are. It's not a conspiracy theory to say they helped the rapper beef, because it is free publicity, which is the best publicity of all. I mean, how do you let them fight at Atlantic Records offices? Come on, that's quite predatory. I bet you the Atlantic executives had sufficient security to have kept YNW or NBA from running up and attacking them. So they should be making sure that the artists don't fight on their premises. That's absurd. In fact, in the normal world, if a company let its employees assault other employees at work, there'd be a lawsuit. But in rap music, it just equals more money for the company, not less, because again, free publicity. So that was in August. So then in October 2018, Sack Chaser and Juvie have their corpses dropped off by Cortland Bortland at a hospital north of Miami. Now, Cortland Bortland claimed they were shot in a drive-by by unknown ops, I guess. So, like I said, Melly had gone to jail on January 23rd, and he got out on January 25th, and so that was, you know, so the murder had happened, and the investigation was going on. He goes to jail January 23rd. While he's in jail in January, his mixtape with the king of all crazy, socially corrosive celebrities on it, King Yeezus himself, comes out. So now he's really popping. So between Kevin Lyles and Leor Cohen and Kanye West pumping big promo dollars into him and his songs about murder and insanity, he's getting really popular again. The kid who did a mass school shooting at a predominantly white high school. So the Gap's lead hype man Kanye West has a song with him, and Melly is smoking hot. Now, Sack Chaser was putting songs out too, and he was getting kind of popular, but I guess he just wanted to be more of a CEO. He had come from Atlanta, and he supposedly had $200,000 coming. We'll talk about that later. So, boom. Mr. Demons and Cortland Bortland are charged with killing their fellow YNW guys in February 2019. Now, it's kind of frightening how the crackers were able to figure out what happened. Turns out Melly's GPS data was available, and they could see that he was in the truck with the other guys. And GPS is so precise down to inches, and they were using T-Mobile phones, which in court they can sense the physical environment they were in. I don't know. They mean they're inside a truck, outside. So the crackers could see that Melly was sitting in the truck with the dead guys, got out, circled it twice. They're saying to put bullet holes into the truck so it looked like someone from outside shot it up. Then he sprinted home while Cortland rode around, or they all rode around with the corpses for a while. And then Melly sprinted home, and Cortland Bortland dropped the bodies at the hospital. Now, a bullet trajectory expert came in. He already testified, and he recreated the scene. Cortland was driving. The victims were on the other side. Melly was right behind Cortland Bortland. And he pulled out his gun, shot both Sack Chaser and Juvie. Melly then made some incriminating direct messages and other stuff which had been used in court. Possibly it was about a gun, and then 100K Track, oh, I'm just thinking of this now, 100K Track was supposedly being threatened that he tried to get rid of a gun for him, so it probably was a 100K Track, but I don't know. So he made some, and then he made also some sort of video, or he made a video basically saying he did it, that was left on a cell phone that he gave to 100K Track, who gave it to investigators later, like a month later. More on him in a minute. For some insane reason, Melly recorded the following video, which has been played in court. He said, quote, "There's no regret for the shit that I did for that N-word to die." He put a pen up to his head as if it's a gun. Mimes pulling the trigger, throws up the Bloods gang sign. Then Melly finishes, both of them never say when. So 100K Track said he went in to voluntarily talk to the police because his client, Melly, is innocent, and he was just trying to help him out. But then the white blood YouTuber 1090 Jake made a post about 100K snitching. He said he pulled paperwork. 100K demanded the chances clear his name, so they had a conversation. You can look that up and watch it. But I have a serious question, because you should think about why you watch 100K talk to 1090 Jake. If you do, why didn't Melly throw his phone in the ocean immediately? I mean, I know guys will throw their cell phone out the window if you mention anything vaguely about drugs, much less they had a phone with them when they killed two people. So he murks two people with the phone in his possession, keeps the phone, makes a video confession into the phone, and gives it to 100K Track to hold. Now, it seems like the police from 100K Track's description were trying to maybe threaten him with an accessory after the fact or obstruction of justice charges for possibly trying to help get rid of a gun and help Melly move around after the incident. So when Track says he was trying to help Melly by talking to the people, I mean, he's probably not lying, except it's weird to me that why did he have the phone? Because and then conveniently he can say, well, I had to turn it over because they subpoenaed me, but why'd you have the phone? And even if he had the phone, he didn't have to turn over the phone. He could have took an obstruction of justice charge. So I'm not one of those people here talking about snitching, all that stuff. I could, whatever. But he didn't have to give him the phone. He could have took an obstruction of justice charge and sat in jail for a year or two. And he could have thrown it in the ocean like Melly had. Now, if Track wants to say, if he would have just said he's a law-abiding citizen who wanted no part of a murder case, okay. But then he couldn't manage rappers. I mean, remember, King Von was under him. King Von's murder victim. And who was holding the camera when Melly confessed? Again, I go back to the old question, who's getting the streaming dollars, which I'm sure is back on the permanent upstring with Melly's trial going on, and the free publicity of him getting the death penalty will make a cash cow for a long time. If you're going to play homicide and manipulate the police, everybody involved better be born in it, not sworn in it. Better have some hardcore family members. You better be from the big city. A lot of people around you with experience. And then it can work, but if not, it all goes sideways like it has now. But it can work. It's rare. So I've heard. I'm into debating. I'm not into debating. I'm not into debating who's snitching, like I said. But again, why did he confess into the phone? Why did 100K Track hold on to this phone? They were talking on the phone about guns. He knew he was wanted. Why did Track still have the phone so they could conveniently be subpoenaed? And who the hell got him to talk into the phone and confess? Now back to the mother, Mama Demons. Now I'm sure she had a hard life. Living in a rural area of the South doesn't look too appealing. For a black woman that had a child in the 9th grade, even more so, I'm sure it wasn't easy. But when you see how she's talking in the video about Sack Chaser, it also makes you think it wasn't easy for Melly Demons to grow up under her care or lack thereof. Something definitely wasn't right down there in the Florida backwoods. Back in April, Melly felt inclined to make a rare phone call from prison in order to clear the air after his old buddy Jay Green got into a heated argument with 100K Track and accused him of owing Melly's mother and brother a lot of money. So Melly called somebody and made a call, said Jay Green's behavior was out of pocket, and he called his mother a liar, saying she has anxiety issues. So his back of, what is the relationship with him and his mother? So Melly's mother went on IG to issue her own response to the allegations and said, regardless of what her son thinks, she loves him unconditionally. Quote, think whatever you want about me, but I love my son and make sure he keeps money on his books and that he is good. Oh boy, money on his books. I've never missed a court date in 3 years except when I caught COVID from the hospital 2 times because I'm a nurse and I stopped working last month. Okay. I love Jamell no matter what, but I'm completely heartbroken. Nothing can fix that I've been front row watching my son fight for his life. And then she just, that quote was before she had to listen to the detective say that Melly authorized her murder in a cell phone call. Who was that called to? Was that to Sack Chaser, and that's why Sack Chaser threatened her? Was it, I don't know. Sack Chaser, his mother talks about Sack Chaser was supposed to get $200,000 right before he was killed. And that's the motive that the prosecutor says it was about, and that's what makes him death penalty eligible. But the money would have came from 300 or Atlantic. I don't know why Melly would have killed him over that. But if it was a crime of passion, you're not death penalty eligible. But the prosecutors are asking for the 114-pound Jamell Demons, that's what he weighs right now, to be sent to the big rap video in the sky. And like I said at the top of this, I watched a lot of obscure videos with people from that Gifford, Wabasso area, of which there's barely any people. Like Vero, the big city, only has 24,000 people. I don't even know how they had a gang, like who'd they beef with. In the surrounding areas, talking about the case, these are people that knew them, went to school with them, ran with the guys. And there were some teenagers talking about Melly showing up at a house in Miramar to confront Sack Chaser, who looked like he was closer to 200 than 100 pounds. Like I said, Melly's close to 100 pounds. And these kids say Sack Chaser wouldn't let Melly have time alone with his girlfriend, and heard Sack Chaser saying things on the phone like, quote, "You got more time for that bitch than you got for me." Sack Chaser had come down to Florida from Miami, aspiring to be a CEO. I found his old LinkedIn where it says Metro Atlanta music business. Kind of eerie, spooky to look at that young man's LinkedIn and his dreams gone. And he's the one who supposedly helped give Melly his swag and his style until Leor and Lyles broadcast his thoughts to the world. So, I mean, I could see him wanting to be a little controlling of what he thought he helped create, but he knocked out Melly's gold fronts in front of his girlfriend, the same one that was stealing the little demon's attention from him. And then some other guys from the area said Sack Chaser was bullying Melly. And we know that Melly's mother definitely was the subject of intimidation. Remember the phone call where she threatened Sack Chaser, said he threatened her. Now, if a guy beats you up in front of your girlfriend, even if that ain't true, he definitely threatened the mother because she made threats back to him. How, I mean, this guy and your mother go back and forth on the internet about guns, and now the four of you are in an SUV together like it's all good? Sounds like Melly and Sack Chaser, at least some parts of the day, were in league against his mother. Maybe that's who he told to kill her. What in the backwoods love affair is going on? Well, that's what some of the Gifford locals said, as I have been intimating. There was something physical other than fighting going on between Sack and Melly. I don't know why people think these kids acting feminine and wearing dresses doesn't mean anything. Maybe one was experimenting and wanted to stop. I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand how a guy threatens your mother and the two of you are ever in the same place together. That does not make any sense. Your mother and this guy are talking about shooting each other on Instagram, and you guys are cool again? Sounds like something weird. Who would you take sides with against your mother? Maybe your wife, maybe. Or your kid, I mean, you know, but like. And remember, Melly allegedly shot them from 8 inches away. They were all relaxed. Something ain't right, and the gossip out of Gifford sounds about as plausible as anything else. The mama is definitely a nut. And I mean, I'm telling you, that's why there's so much same gender activity coming from the slums these days. All these crackhead, dope fiend, nothing-ass women with these kids. And if your mother's horrible and you got no father, I mean, maybe some of them give the other side of the bed a try out of ignorance and desperation. I don't know. Who told all these little boys down south to call each other bitch all day long and sit between each other's legs, kiss each other on the mouth and say they're in the mafia? Maybe it was the men who their mother let touch on them for crack. Now, my recurring theme in talking about these entertainment crime stories is the total abnegation of responsibility and the predatory nature of the big corporations. So just look at the featured artists on Melly's album, which was released under 300 management. Again, Leor Cohen and Atlantic Records, Kevin Lyles, who cried on the witness stand for Young Thug, Glock 9, he just got a lengthy prison term, Juice WRLD, who's dead under suspect circumstances that everyone just accepts that he swallowed a bunch of Oxycontins, which sounds ridiculous. Like, whatever drug you take, you know how much of it'll kill you. You don't swallow 20 Oxycontins and think you won't die. And as I've said before, my question with all these dead and locked up rappers, where are the streaming and merch dollars going? If a sophisticated corporation or just a shady, sophisticated manager is receiving it, and a dead rapper's low-income, low-education mother is the only potential rival to the cash, guess who's gonna win? Like I said, Kevin Lyles just sitting on the witness stand crying, trying to get another one of his much bigger artist out of jail, and Melly was remade in the image of Young Thug. I think Young Thug was on the album too. Small framed, acted feminine, but violent, wore women's dresses. If I made it up, you wouldn't believe me. 300 Management had 2 skinny rappers who acted feminine and wore dresses, both catch murder cases. Now, I could talk about this dark side of the force business for even longer, but I've said all I want to for now, but I will leave you with this. The more I live in LA and interact with entertainment industry professionals of every level, and just the kind of people that come and want to be famous, the slores, the whores, and etc., and the more I analyze stories like this, I say, free speech is overrated because really it just lets sick kids be used by adult predators to sell the normal people sick products. No wonder society is getting sicker by the day. Oh, and it just came out today that when Donald Trump found out he lost the election and he wanted to go help at the Capitol riot, he lunged at the Secret Service driving a limo and tried to steer. Like, these people are crazy. Donald Trump, YNW Melly, out-profit American dope.